Welcome to the College Fairs of Greater Denver. My name is Jasmine. I'm going to serve as the facilitator for our session today. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping announcements. The first announcement: we cannot see or hear you. Your camera and microphone are off. Second announcement: you can use the Q&A button to type your questions to our presenters at any point throughout our session today. Third announcement: we're offering a few different sessions, so feel free to visit our registration site to sign up for additional sessions. And finally, this presentation is being recorded, and you can access our recording by visiting sharpscan.com/Greater Denver. Now that I'm finished with all of my housekeeping announcements, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to our first presenter from the University of Arkansas.
Hi there, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to share my screen so you can see my presentation. My name is Alex Dowell. I am one of the staff in the admissions office here at the U of A. We are based in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We are a nationally competitive, student-centered research university. As you can hopefully see by this slide here, we are celebrating 150 years as an institution. That means we got started all the way back in 1871. We are the land-grant flagship institution for the state of Arkansas, and we have come from very humble beginnings to a record enrollment this year of over 29,000 students. 6,000 of those are new freshmen alone. So we're very excited about our growth, especially over the last 10 years. We started, though, with a class of 9 students in 1876 who graduated. Their names are etched into Senior Walk, which is our longest standing tradition. That is where the names of every graduate and every graduating class who leaves the U of A has their name literally etched into the concrete of the sidewalk stretching across campus. It starts here at our iconic building. This is Old Main. It was completed in 1874. It's the longest standing structure on our campus. And Senior Walk moves from there 5 miles across campus. If you come to the U of A and get a bachelor's degree, you can have your name etched into the sidewalk to be there long after you are gone. And with our growth, we have over 85 academic undergraduate programs, 200 programs total, 400 student organizations. But with that, we still maintain a 19-to-1 student to faculty ratio. What I love to highlight in that is the majority of our classes, we try to enroll no more than 30 students. I'm not going to pretend, though, there aren't some large lecture hall spaces on our campus, of course. There are some halls that seat anywhere from 300 to 400 students. But as you can see here, most classes are going to have fewer than 50 students in them. And so especially as you get deeper into your major program, depending on what academic program you're taking, you will have much smaller classes than you might think at a traditional large SEC institution. Most of our programs too are going to be 8 semesters in order to complete them. Architecture is probably our most popular one. That is a 5-year, or I should say 10-semester degree plan. So keep that in mind if you're looking into something like that. A handful of our programs do require a little bit longer here at the U of A, but most students don't complain about sticking around campus a little bit longer. We also want you to have fun while you're on campus. There are a lot of activities as far as campus life to be involved in. With over 400 student organizations, this is just a small sample size of what you can do. Greek life is about 30% of our student body, so about 1 in every 3 students is a part of Greek life, but know that we also have intramural sports. There's a multicultural center to get involved in. We have concerts and guest lecturers come and speak on campus, book clubs, movie clubs, all the way down to a group of students that is an actual student organization that eat chicken nuggets at different restaurants throughout Northwest Arkansas. So whatever you want to be involved in, there's something for you at the U of A. We are also the home of the Razorbacks. There's only one hog in all of college athletics, and so we are super proud of our Razorbacks and that athletic tradition that you can be a part of. Celebrating and calling the hogs is one of our major traditions here with athletics at the U of A. So it's a ton of fun as far as campus life goes. I do want to cover a little bit of our academics, including the Honors College. We do have the largest endowed honors college in the nation. Some of the major components of that are listed here, but the best component, in my opinion, is the undergraduate research that you get to take part in with your faculty. So we are a Tier 1 research university, so we're competing, or I should say completing research at the highest caliber of academic institutions across the country. And honor students get to do that and actually publish their research at the end of their senior years, depending on what program they're working in. And so there's great opportunities for you if you want to compete at the highest level during your time in college. And there are also great ways to get involved beyond college while you're still a student, kind of preparing for the job market. Internships are a great experience. We're very fortunate. Fayetteville is located in Northwest Arkansas, just 30 minutes away from Walmart's global home office. And because of that, there are over 300 companies on the Fortune 500 list physically located in Northwest Arkansas. So plenty of ways to get involved and connected into the local businesses and economy, depending on whatever your major program is. So talking about major programs, of the 85 academic undergraduate majors, they are all housed within these 6 academic colleges. There is no cap on enrollment at the U of A, and we are open admit to any college. So if you apply to the University of Arkansas and meet our academic standards, you are automatically admitted into the college that the major you select corresponds to. So if you select architecture and you're admitted to the U of A, you are automatically, I should say, in the School of Architecture and Design. Same thing with business, same thing with engineering, arts and sciences. Wherever your degree plan fits, you can start that program from day one. And that actual application is pretty straightforward. Apply.uark.edu is our in-house application, but we are also on the Common App if you want to apply via the Common App. Once you submit those applications, the only things we're going to need to consider your admission are an application fee, a high school transcript, and then possibly a test score, depending on your GPA. I am going to recommend you send us an ACT or an SAT at some point to be considered for academic merit scholarships. But with GPA and test score requirements, those are what we're going to look at to review your admission criteria. We want you to apply by November 1st. That is our priority admission deadline. And that's really just to get you in the front of the line for priority scholarship consideration. November 15th is that priority deadline. That's where the majority of new freshman merit scholarships are awarded. You'll apply at the website where you submit your admissions application. The writing materials listed here are what are required to submit for that scholarship application. So if you submit it by November 15th, you're in the best possible position to receive a scholarship from the U of A. Along with a scholarship, you could qualify for a merit-based discount on out-of-state tuition. Based on these GPA requirements, you could receive this discount on out-of-state tuition. It's like paying in-state tuition plus, say, 20% if you receive the 80% award, or another 50% off of out-of-state tuition if you receive the 50% award. This is applied automatically when you submit your application. So we review your GPA with your residency in Colorado, and that is automatically awarded. That is what I had to cover. I hope that is good information. I know that's a lot to cover in a short amount of time, but I believe my time is up. This is my contact information. If you want to take that down, I'd be more than happy to get in touch with you later on. Let me stop sharing my screen and hand it over to the next, I believe, back to Jasmine. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Alex. Up next, we have Hendrix College.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Whitney Lewis, and I'm an Assistant Director of Admission at Hendrix College. Let me go ahead and start the process of sharing my screen. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. All right. A little bit about Hendrix College. Similar to U of A, we are located in Arkansas, but just a couple hours south of Fayetteville. We're located in Conway, Arkansas, known as the City of Colleges, but I always like to say the City of Roundabouts. There are over 20 roundabouts, so definitely a quirky city within Conway. What others are saying about us as far as Hendrix goes. As you can see the beautiful backdrop behind the students, our campus is named the most beautiful college by Travel and Leisure. I definitely encourage all students who are interested in visiting Hendrix to visit this time of year. It's absolutely gorgeous. Overall, we are a small private liberal arts college of roughly over 1,100 students. So if you are looking for that tight-knit community, Hendrix might be the right fit for you. We've been named one of the most innovative schools by U.S. News and World Report, and we'll discuss a few different ways of how we go about innovation on our campus momentarily. And then lastly, we are part of the organization Colleges That Change Lives, made up of roughly over 40 member institutions across the United States. Many of them are private liberal arts institutions. I do encourage you to pick up this copy or head to ctcl.org to check out our school profile. All right, so a little bit just about Hendrix in general, in terms of numbers and in programs. So overall, over 1,100 students with a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So again, working individually with professors during their office hours, very open for discussion within the classroom. So if you are looking for that tight-knit community within the classroom with academic rigor, this might be the right fit for you. We have an average class size of 16. Most of our class sizes are 16, but we also have a lot of classes that are between 5 to 10 as you progress in your Hendrix career. We do have a few bigger class sizes, but really those are no bigger than 30 to 40 in the class size itself. As you can see from our profile, we have just over 330 in the class of 2025. So again, small, but but we are very spread out as far as a campus goes. We're not all quite packed in on the campus. We have a 175-acre campus, so very beautiful as well. In terms of programs, as you can see here at the top, we have our esteemed Odyssey program, which was named after Homer's The Odyssey novel. Odyssey is all about self-discovery in college. This is a requirement for all of our students at Hendrix. When we say the word requirement, it really is not daunting. Students make the most out of this program through hands-on learning experiences, such as undergraduate research, study abroad, maybe serving even a greater population within Conway or maybe back home. Students can even self-design their own co-curricular experiences. And the best part about Odyssey is that we provide funding for this program. We provided over $4.5 million since 2005 for these experiences, and you can begin right from your first year on. There is no major requirement as far as the academic major goes. You'll be working with a staff or faculty member to complete your Odyssey credits. Some of the fun ones that I really think of right off the bat would be one, going to the World Cup in Germany to study hooliganism. We also had someone go to the Swiss area to study chocolate production. This student was a chemistry major. We also had someone study French and biology and do an internship, and as a result had a paper co-published with her boss as well. So that's a fantastic program that can be added for anyone here at Hendrix. All right, in terms of the application process, we are still accepting applications. We are in the prime time of application season. November 15th is our full scholarship deadline for consideration. We are an early action institution only, which means if you are accepted to Hendrix, it's not binding for you to attend. Once we have everything in by November 15th, you'll know a decision beginning December 15th. What is required besides the application is a transcript along with the essay found on the application. We are found on the Common Application as well as the Hendrix College application. I recommend the Common App because it's, one, very user-friendly, and two, you can add as many colleges as you wish to the Common App for those colleges that accept the Common Application. With the essay, we really want you to share that personal story. We want to get to know you in the application process. And as an admission counselor, we read every single material that is submitted to us. So we get to know our students very well. Optional are test scores. We are test optional for both admission and financial aid as well. And recommendation letters are optional. Lastly, with financial aid, we have the tuition advantage, which is essentially a generous scholarship opportunity. Once you apply for admission, you are also applying for tuition advantage, which essentially we can match the published tuition and fees from the flagship institution at which you live, which in Colorado would be the University of Colorado at Boulder, and of course, submit your FAFSA. My contact information is located at the bottom. So my text number along with my email and a link to apply and visit. I believe my time is up. I'm getting the cue. Thank you so much for this evening, and go Warriors.
Thank you, Whitney. Our next presenter is Mississippi State University.
Hey y'all, my name is Ann Browning Wilson and I'm with Mississippi State University. We are a Division I SEC school located in Starkville, Mississippi. So Starkville is a small historic college town, but it's right in the middle of Memphis, Jackson, and Birmingham. So you've got three pretty big southern cities around you. We also have a local airport Delta flies into that's about 15 minutes from campus, and they have a free shuttle that goes from the airport to campus. So it's really easy for Colorado students to get to Starkville. We have almost 400 student organizations at Mississippi State. So there are tons of things to get involved in once you're a student there. About 20% of our campus is Greek. We have lots of religious organizations, political groups, clubs, intramural sports, all kinds of things taking place on campus, and a really, really great student life. We have amazing housing that's kind of like a hotel suite, 2 people to a room and a private bathroom, and you are able to bring a car to campus. One thing I like to point out is that our housing is based on the date that students apply to the university. So if you're considering Mississippi State, be sure and apply early. We are a land, sea, and space grant institution at Mississippi State. So that means we're going to be known for things like engineering, vet school, architecture. So on this slide, you can see some of our academic colleges. Our College of Ag and Life Science is going to be well known for our agriculture programs. Many of them are ranked in the top 10 in the country, but it also houses some really unique programs like our fashion design and merchandising. Our College of Architecture, Art, and Design is going to be an entirely studio-based college. So you're going to get hands-on experience. The architecture program is a 5-year program, and it does have a separate application. So if you're looking at that, just be aware of that process. Our College of Arts and Sciences is going to house a majority of majors that are going to be like pre-professional tracks. So if you're looking to go to law school or med school, you're going to find a lot of your arts and sciences in that college. But we also have some really unique programs like our professional and broadcast meteorology. So definitely check that out if you're kind of looking for interesting ways to go with your arts and sciences. Mississippi State has an awesome College of Business. It's going to have all of your typical business programs, accounting, economics, finance, but some really unique smaller ones like supply chain management. And we are one of 18 PGA golf management programs in the country. You can also add an international business concentration with any of those programs. College of Education is going to have all of your education programs, but also things like kinesiology, music education. And then, like I said, engineering is probably what Mississippi State is most well known for. We are a Tier 1 research school, and a lot of our research comes from that academic department. You're going to have some of the broader engineering programs like electrical and mechanical, but also some really more specific ones like petroleum, cybersecurity, aerospace, those kinds of things. Our smallest college is going to be the College of Forest Resources, but if you really enjoy getting out and about and hands-on, it's going to be a great opportunity. It houses our wildlife, fisheries, and aquaculture program and our human and wildlife conflict program. So students that are looking at maybe going into vet school, it's a neat alternative. And then finally, we do have a College of Vet Medicine at Mississippi State. We are one of 4 programs in the country that has an early entry pathway. So students can actually apply to our vet school as a high school senior. It's pretty competitive, but if you're admitted, it's going to be guaranteed admission into vet school. So I really encourage you to check that program out if that's something you're considering. And we do offer an honors college. It has multiple tracks that you can do as well as a residential component. And it does have a study abroad exchange with Oxford in England. So how do you become a Bulldog? Steps to apply to Mississippi State are really simple. We are rolling admission. You can apply on our institutional application, Common App, or the Coalition app. There's a $40 application fee. You'll send us your transcripts. This year we are test optional. However, if you have test scores, I encourage you to send them as you will be reviewed for the majority of our scholarship awards if you send those. Because we are rolling admission, you'll get a decision pretty quickly. And then once you're admitted to Mississippi State, you will be able to complete that scholarship application. Our scholarship application is one form and it covers you for all of the awards that we offer at the university. We offer a non-resident award that can cover up to 100% of that out-of-state portion of tuition. And then there's academic awards. You can stack leadership, service, and departmental scholarships on top of that. We do have a priority deadline of December 1st for scholarships, so I encourage you to get that in pretty quickly. Also, we have a really great program if you are a military veteran or a dependent of a military veteran. We automatically waive 100% of your out-of-state tuition. The last thing I want to leave you with is that we are open for campus visits. So I encourage you to come and check it out. You can come in person. There's going to be some virtual options. We also have preview days, which are bigger events where you can meet other students, and then academic insight, which are going to be open houses geared more towards your major. So with that, I will leave you with my contact info. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you, Anne. Our next presenter is St. Edward's University.
All right, thanks so much. Okay, everyone, welcome. My name is David Bernay. I'm the Director of International Admission at St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. So I thought I'd start out today by telling you a little bit more about the numbers of St. Edward's. So we're about 3,400 students in size at the university, which is a good kind of small size for a school. Similar to some of the other universities and colleges here, we have small classes, so around 18 students on average in the classroom, which allows our students to make really, really great connections with their professors. So that's one of the most important kind of aspects of the St. Edward's education. There's a lot going on our campus. We have over 50 areas of study, which I'll talk about in a second. We have great diversity of students from around the US and around the world. I mentioned that I work with international students. We had students from 57 different countries on campus, comprising about 8% of our total student population. So we have great international connections at St. Edward's as well. This is actually a beautiful view from the hilltop in Austin. This is what I get to walk across every day when I'm going to my office. So we are on a hilltop overlooking the city of Austin, which is the capital of Texas. We're just about 5 minutes from downtown. So super close to everything that's happening in the city. You know, as you see here on the slide, you know, Austin's considered one of the best places to go to college in the country. Of course, also home to UT Austin, which is a very, very large university. But Austin's also, you know, known as one of the best places to live in the United States, usually around 1 or 2 with Denver, Colorado. So really both excellent places to be. So let's talk a little bit more about Austin and how it draws students to St. Edward's for sure. Austin is kind of coming into its own right now. We're about 1 million people in the city, but we're growing very quickly and especially grew a lot during the pandemic. We're now the 10th largest city in the United States. And it's, you know, not that huge. So we can get around most places within about 20 to 25 minutes. But what's kind of exciting for our students is that we're the live music capital of the world, home to over 250 music venues in the city and some of the best festivals, actually. So this weekend, our students are super excited for the Austin City Limits Music Festival. It's coming up. It's actually 2 weekends, so it's kind of our version of Coachella. Really big bands playing. Austin is all about music, and that's one of the reasons that I work at St. Edward's too, is that music is our life there. What else is Austin known for? We're known for technology. So we're home to over 10,000 technology companies, you know, similar to Silicon Valley in a sense. We have a lot of folks moving from California actually to Austin right now to take some of those jobs in technology, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Also, you know, important to mention about St. Edward's, we're a Holy Cross institution. We were founded by Father Edward Sorin, who's a French priest who founded Notre Dame, actually. So we are sister schools of the University of Notre Dame, and we were founded in 1885. And so we really thrive and are driven on our Holy Cross mission, which is a strong commitment to service, having a really religiously diverse community on our campus, and also imbuing our students with a sense of obligation to better the world. And our slogan in Holy Cross is educating the mind, not at the expense of the heart. So empathy is very important in terms of our curriculum and what our students do on campus. But let's talk about majors. Lots of different opportunities for majors at the university. Over 50 areas of study that we offer. The most popular ones are listed here in the bottom left: psychology, business, biology, a new major that we offer in environmental biology and climate change, kind of answering the call to further research about climate change, communication, global studies, computer science. Of course, being in a tech city like Austin, computer science is a real advantage for a lot of students. And then on the right side, we have some majors that are really specific to the industries that we have in our area. For example, video game development. In Austin, we're home to over 100 video game companies. And it's one of the reasons that we just brought in a new major in animation, which is connecting really well in visual studies and technology. In addition, another new major that we're adding this year, a lot of new majors, is user experience design. So if you ever have been wondering about creating design in terms of technology and apps, or maybe websites, that's an amazing major to pursue, and one that's being pursued kind of newly around the country right now. In addition, of course, you know, very tried and true business majors like entrepreneurship, and we're home to a lot of venture capital investment in Austin and a big startup scene as well. Not to be left out though, we have very strong programs in the arts, including theater and a Bachelor in Fine Arts in Acting. Residence life. This is the the main residence hall for freshmen that you see on the right side of the screen. It's our residential village. It's actually an award-winning building. So the majority of our freshman class actually lives in 3 of these buildings that are connected, but there are 6 freshman residence halls overall on campus at St. Edward's, and you always get to choose where you live and who you live with. Typically, these are really private, so students are often at least, sometimes they have singles, sometimes they're sharing a room with another student, but they're usually sharing a bathroom with only one student, so that's nice. We do have a requirement for students to live on campus for 2 years. So that's something that you'll want to take a look at. But of course, you can always live on campus up to 4 years if you wanted to. And we have some excellent residence halls at the university. So quickly, I want to talk about the application process. There's a few ways for you to apply to St. Edward's. They have the St. Edward's application, which is listed on our website, the National Common Application, which goes to up to 800 different universities in the US and Canada. Apply Texas is sort of like a common application for the state of Texas. So if you're applying to St. Edward's or perhaps my colleague, Texas State, who's going to be following me, you can use the Apply Texas application or the coalition application. All right, and that's my time actually, folks. So I'm going to go ahead now and throw it over to my colleagues at Texas State University.
Thank you, David. Up next is Texas State University.
Hello, everyone. Just making sure that this is working. There we are. Well, hello. My name is Kelly Tallerine, and I am a regional manager for Texas State University. Texas State University is located in beautiful San Marcos, Texas. We are just 30 minutes from our friendly neighbors at St. Ed's in Austin, and we are about 45 minutes from the Riverwalk in San Antonio. So San Marcos started out as a small town, and as the university grew, so did the now city of San Marcos. We have 2 universities, one in San Marcos where about 99% of my students will start school and finish school, as well as a small satellite campus in Round Rock where a lot of our health professions are housed. At Texas State, we've got about 37,000 students total, so we're a mid to large institution, and we are as well as a Hispanic serving institution and a majority minority institution. So there's tons of great culture on our campus. About 47% of our students are first generation as well, so we welcome all questions, whether that's just from you as a student or from your family as well. We are happy to involve everyone in the admissions process. At Texas State University, we have tons of organizations, and there's always something to do. If it's not one of those awesome music festivals you just heard about in Austin, there is tons of stuff that's happening on campus as well. So at just over 400 organizations, you'll see everything from Division I athletics in your sports. We're part of the Sun Belt Conference. We've got tons of sport clubs like hockey, rugby, water polo. Everybody likes to talk about Quidditch just because it's hilarious to watch and a great time. Intramural sports and esports as well. But we also have other organizations like professional organizations that'll help you build that resume for your perfect job or help you prep to apply for med school. Sororities and fraternities, honors organizations. We even have a beekeeping organization or an org for engineers that want to build race cars. So there's just always something to do. We do require our freshmen to live on campus for 1 beautiful year as well. So the campus is always alive and active. It doesn't die on the weekends. There's always something moving and grooving on campus. At Texas State, we have 8 areas of study, but this houses right under 100 different degrees. And those degrees have focuses and concentrations as well. So you'll see everything from agriculture and food science. We do have a 4,200 acre ranch as part of our campus and the largest body farm in the nation if you're interested in forensic anthropology. We've got business, communication, education is where we started. So you can teach pre-K to 4 all the way up to high school education and special education as well. We've got the health professions and human services, humanities and social sciences, which are your classic liberal arts like anthropology, English with creative writing, all the way down to psychology or geography. We also have STEM programs. What's really cool about our STEM is while we do have classic biology and pre-med paths, We also have a beautiful river that runs through our campus. It's one of the largest aquifers in the state of Texas. And so floating the river, hiking and biking around the river, canoeing, jumping in the river after graduation is all something we like to do. But because we've got this river, we also get to offer an aquatic biology degree program, which is kind of rare to find in Central Texas. We also have engineerings like civil, industrial, manufacturing, and electrical. And then the visual and performing arts at Texas State are also absolutely outstanding and some of the top ranked in the nation. When you're looking for admissions at Texas State, what you see on the screen right now is our classic guaranteed admissions profile. This is really helpful for students who may be upcoming juniors. We're not 100% sure if we're going to be test optional next year. So take a look at this and just know that if you hit these credentials, you would be guaranteed admission to Texas State. So if you're in the top 25% of the class, a 1,000 on your SAT or 20 on your ACT will get you guaranteed admission. And if you're the last person in your class and you can pull a 1330 on your SAT or a 29, welcome to Texas State. We are test optional this year, and honestly, I'm encouraging my top 75% of the class to apply without test scores. Applying to Texas State is actually really pretty simple. At this point, all we need is an application on Apply Texas or Coalition for College. An essay is optional. We love to see one, but if it's stressing you out, don't worry so much about it. We like to see your high school transcripts, your fee or fee waiver, college transcripts if you have them. And then once again, that SAT or ACT. If you've got a really great score, go ahead and send it in. But if you're at all concerned about it, just hold off, keep it in your back pocket. You can always send it in later. We do have a review process that a lot of students are going through because of this test optional situation for fall of 2022. We have a priority date of March 1st, but I really love to see most of my applicants apply well before then so we can get you really great financial aid, the residence hall of your dreams, and all of the good things that kind of happen right before that deadline. At Texas State, we like to help you pay for college if we can. So we have a couple different scholarship areas. The first is assured scholarships. If you're in the top 35% of your class and you're coming in for fall of 2022, you can be qualified for assured scholarships without an SAT or ACT score. But if you have an 1160 in your top 35% or your top 25% with a 1060, we would guarantee you scholarship money. We also have competitive scholarships, and the deadline for that is December 15th. So that's, again, why I would like you to apply as early as possible. If you're coming out of state to Texas State, keep a sharp eye on the little green box at the bottom. If you were awarded a $1,000 scholarship, you would also be awarded in-state tuition at Texas State University. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me. That QR code on this little screen is also really amazing for setting up a visit or getting in touch with your personal admissions counselor. If you have questions, I'd love to answer them. And thank you for sitting here and listening to us today.
Thanks, Kelly. So that concludes the presentation portion of our session today. But now we're going to transition to the Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to utilize that Q&A section and type your questions to our presenters. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and pose a question to the group. So we'll start with our first presenter from the University of Arkansas. First question here, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot to consider and there's a lot of information to take in. So to kind of have like a beacon or a guiding light through it, would always advise a student, just keep your end goal in mind as you're looking at, what college, what program, what city, everything is going to fit you. That determining process can get so overwhelming that if you have an end goal, you're not just going to be there. It's not just the next 4 years, it's setting you up for a future. And so if you can know what your end goal is going to be, let that help guide you to make the best decision for you, what university makes the most sense. And if you don't know what your end goal is, which is plenty of people, how many of us are still trying to figure it out sometimes, does the university or the colleges that you're looking at have the space and the resources available to help you figure out what that end goal can be while you're there on campus? So just, if you're looking at a career goal or a vocational goal or a graduate school or law school, things like that, does the institution you're looking at really fit that opportunity? So that's would be kind of the more meta advice that I would want to give a student if they're asking, what to keep in mind.
For me, I would say to visit as many campuses as you possibly can. COVID, of course, that has definitely put a hindrance on many visits, but with this year as we go forward, I'm hoping that a lot of students in general visit campuses. How many times have we seen many smiling faces on college brochures? They all look the same. Until you visit that campus, really get a sense of talking with the students, faculty members, admission folks, you really will not get a sense of the culture, I think, until you go visit. So plan a road trip if you can. If not, there are many virtual experiences available. So I would definitely recommend visiting or virtual visiting colleges.
I would say get yourself a master calendar and keep track of all the dates and deadlines for all the universities that you're looking at, because there's a lot of them out there, and you're going to have things like scholarships and housing and application and early decision and all of those things. And when you're looking at more than 1 or 2 or 3 schools, that becomes really hard to keep track of. But those deadlines are hard deadlines. And if you miss them, then you're out of luck. So I would say kind of start with a way to keep all of that organized.
Yeah, I would add passwords to that list. You probably have 1 million accounts right now at different universities, different platforms. There's got to be a way you got to figure that out. I would say use us as a resource. We are here as admission counselors to help you through this process. Know that we are here to answer your questions, of course. And so don't feel afraid to send us a message and or pick up the phone and give us a call. We're here to guide you. So yeah, just use us as a resource.
And I'll wrap it up with take a deep breath. This is a stressful process. We all know it because we work with you guys all of the time. So if you're starting to get tangled in those dates or those deadlines or those spreadsheets and you're starting to freak out, take a deep breath. We're here to help. We're here to guide you. There are some things we like to see, but we may not need. And if you asked us, we might say, hey, don't bother with that. We'll take something else. We'll figure it out a different way. So deep breaths, everybody. This is a stressful process and you're going to make it through and you're going to find a great fit school.
Great advice from the group. One final question here. And again, we'll start with Alex at the University of Arkansas. What is one myth you like to debunk on the college admissions process?
Yeah, it's a good question. One myth that I would want to debunk would probably be whether it's for like an admissions application or more likely a scholarship application. When you're looking at like an academic resume that you have to fill out, think quantity over quality, or sorry, let me get that reversed there. That's why it's a myth. It's so easy to fall into that trap. Think quality over quantity. As I review scholarship applications, I know many of the staff in my department and my division review it. We want to see you be a leader in the activities that you're involved in. If I see a list of 15 things, I'm like, man, you may have gone like an inch deep and a mile wide, but I want to see how are you developing and cultivating yourself as a leader? How are you involved deeply? And so again, most of the time I know for the U of A, that's going to matter in scholarship applications. Again, certain schools are going to look at the admissions process with that, but think of, how am I really maximizing what I'm involved in, for your own experience to grow as an individual and as a person, but then B, to really help other people see how you're developing and growing when it comes to the opportunity for us to give you money. And so keep that in mind. Quality over quantity. So I say that correctly one more time.
I had to unmute. Great advice. My other piece of advice would be that we are not scary people as admission counselors. I think that is a myth that that we actively want to deny, like we actively want to put the red seal of deny on the letter. That is definitely false. We want to get to know you as people, especially at Hendrix, being a smaller college. We want to read about the time that you went hiking, right? We want to get to know you throughout the whole high school career. So make sure to get in touch with us. Definitely don't be afraid to pick up the phone, send an email, send a text. We're here to help you.
I would say one of the myths that I think people get caught up in is that it's expensive or prohibitively expensive to go to school out of state. And I would just encourage you to look at your options and ask your admissions counselor. There's going to be a ton of scholarship availability, even for private schools, public schools. I mean, it really doesn't matter. A lot of them are going to have a printed total cost of attendance, but the reality is what you pay is often a lot less. And then there's a lot of federal programs and state programs as well. So I would say explore those options, apply for scholarships and get that final kind of balance number, and then compare dollar for dollar the schools that you're looking at. Because I think a lot of times families don't even consider out of state options when really it could be just as affordable as your in-state options.
I'd like to talk about the myth, or I guess the fact that students are maybe spending so much time in this process preparing for tests, and just say that, you know, some advice. Maybe you don't have to spend all that time preparing for tests. Maybe you can spend that time doing something that you're passionate about or that you're really excited about that you can build upon and learn from. So let's not get caught up in the frenzy of testing, and hopefully that's on its way down anyway. Apologies to my colleagues who accept tests, but yeah, that's what I have to say.
And I think the one myth that I would love to bust is that there is a best school for blank. There's a best school for pre-med. There's a best school for pre-vet. There's a best school for art. There are hundreds of best schools for art. There are hundreds of best schools for every major that you're looking at, and they're all super incredible in different ways and for different reasons. Just because your friend's going to their best fit school does not mean that that will be your best fit school. So try to remember that in the process, that because you might have a friend or a alum family member in your ear saying, you have to go here, you have to go here, that may not be the best fit for you. So try to find what makes you happy on this campus visit, what brings you joy when you speak with us about our opportunities, and follow your own path that way.
Thank you all. Great advice for our attendees. Thank you for sharing your insight. So we are approaching the end of our session for today, but I do have a few closing announcements. So as you exit from this Zoom session, a survey will appear. It is approximately 5 questions, but please complete the survey. It's extremely helpful as we aim to improve our virtual college fair offerings. Also, I want to remind you that you can access this recording by visiting strivescan.com/Greater Denver. Again, thank you to our amazing panelists for joining me, but also thank you to our attendees. I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you so much.